Hello and welcome to the League of Extraordinarily Bearded Gentlemen podcast. My name is Ben Carter, I am your host. Today's topic is aliens, especially those from 1945 after. I'm not delving into that ancient alien shit. As always, I am joined by my co-host Trig, coming to us through the magic of Skype.
Hi there.
We'll explain why shortly. And Conspiracy Pete, our new conspiracy expert. We found him outside in the bins rummaging through with tinfoil shoes on, and we thought that's the guy we need to replace our last conspiracy expert who tragically died jumping out of a window.
Yes, if you remember from last episode.
Yeah, the tinfoil hat he was wearing survived, but not the rest of him.
It's a rite of passage, I think, isn't it? He's got that cap on his head now, so he's and to the next guy.
It's passed on. We're going through these guys like Spinal Tap drummers, though. That's the problem. Right. What's happened since you've been away? Well, let's just go to why Trig is on Skype.
Yeah.
You may recall I was building a time machine. Yeah? It went wrong, and we ended up with a bunker full of demonically spawned entities from another dimension. And
quite bad, quite smelly.
Yeah, many tentacles. The Japanese would have loved it.
Oh, the Japanese will love it,
Yeah.
Yeah, tentacles and schoolgirls, and it's just all manner of wrong.
Yes. So anyway, Trig is in the very bowels of the bunker, hunting down the last one. He's got a vial of holy water, sharp stick.
I'm currently hiding in the corner somewhere. It's cold, it's wet, there's a funny smell, but I think I'm safe for the next hour or so at least.
Fantastic. Well, there we go, we can get a show in. So,
excellent.
So, since we've last been on air, we've obviously had some major deaths. You know, Lemmy.
We have, yeah.
Berry.
Rest his soul.
Chap from the specials, I can't remember his name. I should have done my research, but I've only just thought of him. Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, yeah. I watched, what did we watch the other day? Labyrinth for David Bowie.
I haven't even got that anywhere. I don't know if I'd appreciate it now.
Yeah, it is a terrible film, but it's a good film to watch, I suppose. It's David Bowie steals every scene, especially with his unnecessary crotch shots.
If anyone's going to give you an unnecessary crotch shot, it's David Bowie.
Hell yeah. But I don't think David Bowie died. I think he just went home.
Yes, you know what? I actually agree with you because there's no way that fucker was from Earth.
No, not at all.
There just isn't. So
You saying he was a star man after all?
I think he was. I genuinely think he was.
From Mars, yeah.
He rode a spider from Mars. Probably. Back in the day, there was a lot of drugs involved. You go and see Star Wars, guys?
I did.
Yeah.
Me too, yeah.
Well, I went with you.
Yes. we had a day out.
They released us for a day.
Yeah. The tinfoil hats drew some looks, but I think we got away with it.
I was in disguise, so the demonic ones just couldn't find me, so...
Yeah. And that's the thing, if you keep still, they'll just avoid you.
Exactly.
Their vision is based on movement. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. A bit weird having a stormtrooper who's supposed to be like clones, and then suddenly he has his own ideas.
I think they've moved away from clones at this point. I think they just kidnap children now and raise them.
Yeah, that makes sense to a degree.
I don't know. I just thought they remade episode 4, but 30 years in the future.
Yeah.
And they were like, there was several references with the Rebel Fleet. The Rebel Fleet were going to lure the Rebel Fleet out.
Yeah.
And they finally do at the end, and 20 X-Wings show up, and you're like, well, they had more than that at Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, they had a fucking fleet, not just 20 X-Wings.
Yeah.
Anyway, in 30 years, the Empire's hollowed out a fucking planet, and Akbar's been living it up on the money for the cash, for the fleet, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Because he was there, wasn't he? Oh, it's a trap. Can you do your it's a trap?
It's a trap.
There we go. And it's like, well, where's the money gone, Akbar?
I like was it the Star Destroyer at the end in the background? The crashed one?
Yes, that was good.
The cinematography was second to
really
none.
well shot.
It was perfect.
What did...
I tell you what, it destroyed my favourite character.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. Han Solo, I mean, it was embarrassing to watch him. He was like in his 70s, wandering around, looked like he didn't know what was going on half the time, like he had dementia. And
Space dementia.
yeah, and that fight at the end, he just did not, against his son. It was just,
Well,
it wasn't a classic.
He's not gonna fight his son, but he was a whiny little fucker.
Yeah.
And how can you have a Sith Lord that cape? I'm sorry.
I think the thing with Harrison Ford, when he did the last Indiana Jones film, Crystal Skull,
That was terrible.
Oh.
that was terrible. He was too old to do that film.
I have shit better films than that.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah, it's like. Did you hear the rumour that apparently was it Daniel Craig was the stormtrooper?
yes, the one who had the Jedi mind trick done on him.
That was him, yeah.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. He didn't have a lot to do. He wanted to be in the film. He's got shit to do.
One more Bond movie, was it, or something?
Something like that. It's and Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones was in it as well. The Brienne of Tarth. She was Captain Phasma,
Who was a pointless character.
who was a completely pointless character.
I don't recall that. Who's that?
Exactly.
The Stormtrooper captain. There was a lot made of this character in the build-up to it. The Stormtrooper in the silver armour with the blue stripe down the front, and she was the captain.
Oh, I vaguely remember.
Yeah, and it's like she's there. Turn off the force field. No. Turn off the force field. Okay. And that was the extent of that character.
Oh.
And the dude with the... Can I just say that the one bit that really pissed me off? Right?
Go on.
The Stormtrooper, he flicks the old baton out, yeah? Everyone's going, oh my god, that guy's a badass. Right? The only thing that can stop a lightsaber is another lightsaber, yeah?
Yes.
So if you've got the technology to block a lightsaber,
Yeah.
why not give it to fucking everybody?
Yeah. Why not make armour
Well,
out of it?
They're building a huge planet into a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, but also...
Sucking the money up, but they can't afford to give everyone bloody lightsaber blockers, can they?
Well, in fairness, what are the odds you're going to run across a lightsaber if you're in the Empire?
Well, there we go, the Jedi's are dead.
Exactly, so why bother making one that can block one?
There is a backstory to his, and I've forgotten what it was.
He was something to do with disciplining stormtroopers, so he was their S&M guy.
But he rose through the ranks with that Finn guy, apparently.
Oh,
And
right.
that's why there was that big fight off between them at the end.
Treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cracking. Shall we, now we've bashed Star Wars for a little bit, which no doubt will bring us complaints, because I've seen internet forums where people have criticised it and they've just been like, hounded. Genuinely.
Spoiler alert, Han Solo dies.
I thought it was just a limp effort, to be honest.
It was limp-dicked. Alright, Aliens. We will avoid...
I enjoyed that film.
Yeah, good film. Good film. I like Aliens. I especially like the comedy dubbed version for TV. So you never get a chance to see that. Fucking go for it.
I definitely want me some more of that Arcturian poontang.
Hey, but the one you had was male.
It don't matter when it's Arcturian, baby.
Which means, what the fuck are the Arcturians?
I heard there were underground mole people on the forums, but
Really?
apparently...
Why the fuck are the Marines having sex with underground mole people? Are things that bad in the... They've got Vasquez. So do Vasquez.
Oh, I think she does you. I don't. Is
Well-
Vasquez? And let's face it, you'd have to fight off Drake.
Oh, he's a pussy. Be alright. Are we on about the rapper
Good
or the
luck.
Marine?
The Marine.
Alright, so we'll make a start. I'll give some background. Feel free to come at me. We'll go for the 1947. There's two of things happened in 1947.
Yeah.
There was Roswell,
Yeah.
and the modern age of the UFO starts.
Okay.
None of this ancient aliens bullshit where aliens
So-
are fucking responsible for everything.
Can I get this correct? Before 1947, there was no such thing as a flying saucer.
People had seen stuff in the sky.
Exactly. Look at H.G. Wells and the other writers of his time.
Yeah, but that's science fiction.
Asimov.
We're not. It wasn't people. He wasn't. H.G. Wells wasn't seeing shit in the sky. Well, it could have been. We don't know. Actually, never wrote about it.
Was there any sightings of UFOs recorded before that time? What I'm asking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it didn't start in 1947.
The modern age started in 1947. The modern age, where it became business rather than a curiosity.
So it'd be interesting to know how far in history the UFO phenomena goes. 'Cause I'm pretty sure that didn't Plato or one of the other Greek philosophers said they saw something?
Alexander the Great attributed one of his victories to UFOs.
Could have been that then, it could have been that, yeah. It was some
One
dude
of the
at the
Mayan
back.
tapestry as well.
That could be a comet. There was a comet over at the time.
A comet, that's the one, yeah.
It's you know the ancient alien thing, and we can be here all day because you go into Giorgio with his hair saying aliens are responsible for everything. Do you know what his background is? He's a fucking nutritional bodybuilding guy. Yeah, he's as qualified as we are to talk about this shit, and he gets a show on the History Channel. So by the end of the show, I want us to come up with a hashtag to help launch our own career on the History Channel doing pseudo-scientific shows. We can just make up the fuck we want.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
If they could do this pseudo-reality stuff on Discovery, then we can do our own bloody show on ancient aliens.
Where we just go to Egypt, wander around, have a thoroughly nice time, get pissed on the local lager, and talk about shit.
Yeah, point at the pyramid and go, aliens.
Yeah. Although I don't think aliens did build the pyramids, I just think that when you've got like a fuck ton of slaves and a big whip, those guys are going to move a rock.
It's just a big tomb, isn't it?
Yeah, and a pyramid's not that hard to build. Essentially, it's just a rubble of rocks. It's any pile of rocks, isn't it? A pyramid.
Yeah, it's easy to do in Minecraft.
I don't even know what you're on about in that respect. You get people who go nuts over Minecraft, and you're like, well, the graphics are shit.
That's the point.
Yeah, but I've got an Xbox 360 still and get mocked for it, and there's got these people playing this shit graphic game, and you know, what the hell is this about? Going to get back on track.
Back on track, aliens.
Kenneth Arnold. He's flying his plane in the Cascade Mountains, the Rockies, and he sees a flight of what he described as saucers skipping along, as if they were skipping along the water. Yeah?
That was him, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't like UFOs, they were like shaped like the bat plane in the drawings he drew. You know,
Yeah, I remember
they're
seeing
like
them.
flying wings.
Flying saucers, didn't he?
They're like flying wings with spiky bits on the front, so they look like the bat plane, which proto-Batman maybe. It's in the weeks that followed that, there were 853 reports of flying saucers. So can you put that down to public hysteria, or people just looking at the sky more?
But yeah, probably hysteria because there's something new. People want to jump on a bandwagon, don't they?
Well, this is it. I mean, it's interesting to note that when Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out, UFO sightings went through the roof again.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it was probably the same for Independence Day, that UFO sightings rocketed.
Didn't they say the same for Battle of Los Angeles?
Probably.
Well, the old saying, isn't it? Does art imitate life? Does life imitate art?
That's surprisingly philosophical for us.
It isn't all knob gags and
knob gags and sexual innuendos, no. But the U.S. Army Air Force, because it wasn't an Air Force at that point, it was the U.S. Army Air Force, said that he saw either a mirage, misidentified meteors, or a flight of pelicans.
So they started with the cover-ups back then.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I can't think of a pelican without thinking of the one that's a toilet in the Flintstones. You think you've got a crappy job. every time I think of a pelican, it's that pelican. I don't even know what they look like in the wild. Genuinely, I don't.
So if you saw a pelican in the wild, the first thing you would do is crap in its mouth.
Who can say? Depends if it's up for it. Anyway, we get to what date did I say Kenneth Arnold was? June 24th. By July 8th, you've got a UFO crash at Roswell. Yeah. The rancher, Mac Brazel. They've got strange names, these freaking outdoory American types, haven't they? Thing is, what was significant about Roswell, or that area, was that it was home to the only nuclear-armed bomb group in the world. Because the Americans at the time were the only ones with nuclear bombs. And they only had the one squadron of planes, the 509th Bomb Group, that were fueled and ready to go within so many hours, probably minutes' notice. So it was quite a delicate area to be around.
Back then, in the late 40s.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'm pretty sure that Wright Patterson Air Force Base is certainly a place that they do shit like that as well.
Yeah, Isn't that the new Area 51?
Allegedly so, but it would just make a really good cover story if they just kept Area 51 open anyway.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, just to kind of get attraction away from, or attention, so I get attention away from Area 51 and just say right past an airbase instead.
Yeah, they're going to film the Mars landings at Area 51, haven't they?
That's it, yeah.
So that red sand. But it was also next door to Roswell, as well as that. The only group in the world with nuclear weapons is the White Sands testing range, and that's where they were testing all the old captured German V1s and V2 rockets and radar and shit. So they think the radar, the ultra powerful radar, brought down these UFOs because there's 2 crashes.
It's interesting because there's always been some kind of military cover-up, hasn't there? There's always been like a military involvement when it comes to UFOs.
Yeah.
Even if it's some kind of cover-up from people seeing something.
Did you know that the US currently prevent 5 million pages of documents coming out each year to the public? They censor about 5 million pages a year.
Wow.
How many black pens is that?
A hell of a lot.
And is it the same guy doing it all?
There's a lot, yeah, there's a lot of permanent marker.
Permanent marker. No wonder they spend so much.
That's a hell of a lot of information that doesn't get to the public.
Well, it'll never get to the public. It's just been blacked out.
Maybe for
There was a
100
website,
years.
wasn't there, that was recently released, or recently opened, I think it was last year, I think it was, where they've released lots of documents going from, I can't remember what date it's coming from, but UFO sighting records. There was a website, and I can't remember what the website is.
And we've released near enough all of ours, or allegedly released near enough all of ours.
But I heard that one case that he thought everything was worth looking for, and that file surprisingly went missing.
Was that Nick Pope?
Yeah, it could have been him. Yeah.
Yeah, the only guy ever to have worked at the MOD and UFOs.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That was
But he
it,
wasn't.
yeah, the only guy to work on the British X-Files.
Well, I've seen this, and it's a fucking awesome photo if it genuinely existed. Apparently, he got it sent to him via a newspaper via some ramblers in Scotland, and they saw this fucking massive UFO, diamond shaped. They reckon it was like, you know, half the size of a football pitch. So we're talking something pretty bloody big in the sky. And apparently it had 2 Harriers hovering in front of it. And you think, well, that'd be a fucking cool picture for a start.
That would be cool.
Just 2 Harrier jump jets just hovering off the side of this fucking thing. Like, yeah, come on, bring it, you bitch. That'd be awesome. But yeah, and that photo went missing. The negatives went missing. Nick Pope allegedly had a copy on his wall, but that went missing as well. But what you've got to remember about Nick Pope is that this is his career now. He doesn't work for the MOD. He writes books and he appears on TV, and I've heard interviews where he says he doesn't believe, and I've heard interviews where he says he does.
People have to change their opinion, sure.
They are, but not week by week. And not depending on who you. If you're being interviewed by Skeptic Monthly and you say you don't, and then you're being interviewed by UFO World and you say you are, you do, then you're doing it for the money.
Yeah, there's going to be the mainstream media, and there's going to be like the underground media, and there's
That's it.
appearances and all that.
Maybe.
The guy who found anyway, this UFO wreckage at Roswell finds its way back to Roswell Army Air Force Base, and Major Jesse Marcel, who was the press officer, and I think he was the intelligence officer as well, and he sort of touched the wreckage, and you know, allegedly this metal that was like tinfoil that sprang back into shape.
Yes.
And you know, I-beams and mysterious hieroglyphs on, and his son saw it and handled it. His son's sadly dead now as well. He died not so long back. But the US Army Air Force was saying, "Nah, it's a fucking weather balloon, mate. You never seen a weather balloon before." And apparently, much is made of Marcel saying all this, but there was 2 of them who went there, and I forget the other guy's name off the top of my head. And he said, and then Marcel's going, "Oh, look at this, it looks like a flying saucer." And the other guy's, "What are you on about? It's a UFO, it's a bloody weather balloon. What are you on about? It looks nothing like a flying saucer." His testimony is strangely put back by the UFO people. So, yeah. But you've got to look at would Marcel have actually seen tinfoil, because remember, you've come out of the Second World War here, and tinfoil wasn't being, stuff, aluminium was the war effort, it was all for the war effort. You wouldn't have had tinfoil at home.
No.
So would he have actually seen tinfoil? There's a question for you.
Another weird thing as well, where it says the metal kind of springs back into place if you try to scrumple it up, and yet nowadays we've got glasses made out of a similar kind of metal.
Yeah, but look how long it's taken us to get to that point.
It could point to a cover up, couldn't it?
It could, and this actually leads us on to a point, to a book here, actually, by a guy called Lieutenant Philip J. Corso. It's called The Day After Roswell.
Okay.
He claims he was in charge of the unit, that all our modern technology comes from Roswell. So the Skype that we're using to talk to you, computer chips, everything, fibre optics, the internet, night vision, all comes from Roswell. Yeah?
Velcro as well.
Velcro, probably.
CDs.
Digital sex aids, all kinds of shit.
You mean glow-in-the-dark condoms were from there?
Yes, LED glow-in-the-dark condoms are from the Roswell crash. See, I kind of disagree with that, because I know that the Germans had night vision by the end of World War II.
Yeah.
So we didn't get night vision from Roswell.
We had radar before then.
Yeah, but we had radar before then, yes.
Yeah.
He didn't say we anything about radar.
Oh, well, I thought that's another thing they may have
No, he specifically
attributed to Roswell.
He specifically mentions night vision. We got night vision from Roswell, and he's like, oh no, they didn't, because the Germans had it in the end of World War II. Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, we had computers before the end of World War II.
We did. They were more mechanical than electronical, though. I mean, the silicon chip wasn't a possibility
No.
at that point, was it? In 45. But basically, Roswell kind of just vanished after the press release. Yeah, it's a weather balloon, and it all went quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe Skynet went back into the past.
Okay, go with this. Go with this.
Yeah.
Go on then.
And planted the silicon chip, pretending it was aliens to the people in charge, and to the rest of the public just think it's scientific.
What if it was a fucking Terminator?
That's what I mean.
And they
It's
killed the
amazing.
Terminator in the desert.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Maybe Skynet had gone back in the past, put the silicon chip to make sure that it comes to fruition.
Yeah, because maybe.
Sorry, I watched the new Terminator last night, so...
Any good?
No.
No.
It's okay.
Doesn't the Mother of Dragons save it?
She's pretty hot, but no.
No, so I prefer her with blonde hair, actually, weirdly. Don't like her with dark hair, it doesn't look right. But yeah, nothing happens. And Stanton Friedman, you ever heard of Stanton Friedman, gentlemen?
Nope.
Former nuclear physicist, essentially the grandfather of modern UFOlogy as well. He's the guy that writes the books, he's the guy that does the tours, he does the speaking. He appears on most UFO related TV shows, or he did, because he's getting on about 90 now, so he's slowed back a bit. But he basically works, and this is where we get the claims of wreckage and bodies and 2 crash sites and interviews with witnesses in Roswell. The problem I've got with that is you're interviewing someone about something that happened 50 years ago.
Yeah, I can't remember what happened 50 years ago, even though it was last week because there's time machine.
Yeah. By the way, you're technically 112 now.
I am awesome.
Yeah, time flows differently in that dimension. We've had to declare you dead for tax reasons too.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's only going to get longer. Yeah, so he interviews the mortician, for example, at Roswell, and this mortician, Glenn Dennis, his name is, and he gives various sort of accounts of having to deliver child-sized coffins to the base, and this nurse he dated or was dating, and he gives an incorrect name because it was someone who was there much later. They weren't there at that time. Their records show this. So it's basically you're asking someone if 50 years on to give an accurate account, and I don't think you can.
No, it's actually scientifically proven that witness accounts are pretty unreliable, and if it goes to court with just a witness account, I don't think
it's essentially your word against theirs, isn't it? And
Yeah.
in fact, most repeated the same testimony, but you could legally class it as hearsay, because I very much doubt he sequestered them all individually and interviewed them all like sort of they didn't have a chance to talk to one another. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only five. There's 90 people interviewed. Only 5 of them mentioned wreckage or bodies. You know, you got to look at that as well. And then, but there's I mean, people make. The point is, people make a fucking living out of this. I'm going to keep saying that the entire show and repeat myself unnecessarily. I mean, like an author called Annie Jason. She wrote a story about Area 51, and her take on the Roswell incident was that Mengele freaked up some kids genetically. The Russians put them in a top secret rocket plane, flew it to America to cause panic.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my response to that. Pete, you gotta give me anything on that?
That's just that's a bit too far fetched, isn't it? I mean, why would the Russians send them to America to panic?
Yeah.
The Americans?
And if you're gonna cause panic, you don't want it crashing in the middle of a desert.
No.
You want it coming down smack in the middle of New York City, don't you?
Yeah. You want to take down 2 big towers, that's going to cause a lot of scary stuff.
Well, yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, and also, if you've got a top secret rocket plane, why are you going to send it to America so they can have a look at it?
Yeah.
It's a Cold War, you know.
Check these out.
Yeah. Hey, it's in our rocket plane. Let's put some genetically freaky kids in it and we'll send it over. You know, just mean, and the fact that Mengele was where
Russian anyway, was it Nazi?
when he was, but the idea was the Russians got him after World War II. But his whereabouts are also pretty well sort of known how he escaped, because he did make it to Argentina eventually, but he wasn't anywhere near Russia.
I see.
Do
you think Hitler managed to get to Argentina?
I do, and I'd like to do an episode, and I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that he did get out. And I think if you're the boss man, you've got your own escape plan covered, haven't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, fuck everybody else. I'm getting out of here. I mean, there's a thing where apparently Martin Bormann, who was number 2 at that point in the Reich, offered the British government £1 billion in gold to get him out of Berlin, which was under siege, and we did.
I heard that.
It was actually Ian Fleming, who was the James Bond author. There's this theory that James Bond is based a lot on his life rather than him just being a desk jockey. He went to the commando school. He became a spy. He learned explosives. He learned to kill people with his bare hands. Probably with Christopher Lee, R.I.P. Who was in the special operations executive. Because there's a cool story, The Lord of the Rings, and Peter Jackson says to Christopher Lee, "I want you to make it sound like a man being stabbed in the back." He goes, "Oh, I know what that sounds like." Yeah, he was special forces. He was dropped behind enemy lines. Christopher Lee. He was quite an interesting guy.
Oh, right.
Did he release a metal album? Was that last year?
Yeah. He's done a few heavy metal albums.
He's done a couple now. Yeah.
He won't be doing any more, but you know.
Well, there you go.
I mean, this Roswell thing. It's hard to say, isn't it? If someone wants to give me a final thought, go on, Pete. Give me your final thought on Roswell. Was it aliens? Was it something that crashed? Was it just a probe and there were no bodies? Or was it just a weather balloon?
I think without physical evidence, it's difficult to say either way, isn't it? It's you've got to go on people's reports, and I'm just saying that I do not believe anything that comes out of the US government or pretty much any Western government or any government for that matter.
Yeah, because you can't really hold up the Saudis as a beacon of freedom of the press, can you?
And if the US are censoring, say, 5 million pages a year or something to that amount, then I believe that it's possible, yeah. I believe it's possible that it was an alien crash.
Alien crash, Trig?
Yeah, I'll go for alien crash.
I'm going for the fucking weather balloon.
I'm not saying it is an alien crash, I'm saying it is possible.
Yeah, it's possible. I just think that maybe Marcel kind of dropped the ball and got a bit excited.
The only thing is, there is no evidence. After all these years, there's not one shred of proof.
Well, this is it. I mean, there's no one pocketed away a little bit of wreckage or anything. You know what I mean?
It's done good well for the town, though, isn't it, for tourism?
Well, this is another thing. The town of Roswell, everything is geared for aliens. I mean, even the lamppost bulbs have got alien faces on them. Every shop sells something alien. The restaurant is called the Little Alien.
Yeah.
Without that happening, that town would just be a fucking ghost town. So someone's keeping it alive for a reason.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Well, you can say that about.
I can say that about the Loch Ness Monster as
yeah,
well.
exactly. Anything like that.
Because let's face it, there's fuck all else in Scotland. Sorry, Scotland.
Not from whiskey.
Whiskey and shortbread. There you go.
Whiskey, shortbread, miniskirts, haggis.
Although they are the toughest men in skirts in the world. So we'll skip forward a little bit in time. We go to 1953. You ever heard of a guy called George Adamski? Can tell by your silence that he
Is
hasn't
in relation to the Adamski that made. There was a pop star in the 90s.
Yes,
I-
there was. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that song.
Killer.
Whatever it was.
It was called Killer.
That was it.
The latest conspiracy expert's a freaking expert on cheesy 90s pop as well. Wow. Wow. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, he writes a book called The Flying Saucers Have Landed. He takes loads of pictures, shot allegedly through telescopes. I think he was holding a model up to the camera. I'll put some pictures of this on the website because we obviously. And he travelled to Venus and Mars with these aliens. They all spoke English, perfect English. Obviously, I think Jesus was there. Yeah, so this is where the crazy comes in, I suppose, because he compared the aliens to angelic figures, and he met Jesus.
Was our friend the Lizard King there as well?
He wasn't. He doesn't mention the Lizard King. I am the Lizard King. He doesn't mention it. But he went to Venus and Mars, and they've got bases on the moon. And Venus isn't a sulphur-covered hellhole. It's rich and fertile.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
And as the I can only go with what the Russians say, and they've all said it's a hellhole.
Yeah, I've seen. Not pictures, because I don't think there was pictures. Was there pictures?
I'd have thought so.
I think there was pictures of Venus, yeah. I think it lasted like 90 minutes, didn't it, before it vaporised?
Yeah, something like that. Just shitloads of sulphur and methane and.
Oh, it's the heat as well. It's
the
like
heat.
400 degrees C.
Oh, that's nothing for a Russian. They're extreme. Hot, cold, doesn't matter. Get them in between, they're fucked. So yeah, he ended up being remembered as a bit of a joke. Didn't really do the scene any favours. I've seen an interview of him going on about the toilet facilities on the UFOs wearing a Native American Indian headdress. Now, considering he was a Polish immigrant, I think the headdress is overcooking it a bit in terms of crazy.
Well, is there anybody in here that you've got that has actually got any decent evidence rather than going about Indians in fucking toilets?
No, genuinely not. The whole UFO scene is terrible.
What
There's no evidence. Well, we'll go forward again in time, and we'll go to 1961, the first alien abduction case.
Oh, really? Was that? I thought it was earlier than that.
No, well, there's
Documented cases, or
it's the first one that hit the papers. It's the first one where they actually. This is where the classic grey comes in. The grey alien. This is where he comes in. They come in. The tall greys, your daddy long legs, and your little creepy sexless dudes. Right? But the weird thing is that Betty and Barney Hill, they're travelling home. An alien craft stops them. They're taken on board. But weirdly, this is the only case. So she says that they were wearing clothes and they had noses. Yeah. The first thing, they had noses and they were wearing clothes.
Well, that's disguise, isn't it?
No, I've got this image of all these greys wearing them Groucho Marx glasses and fake nose and moustache. Hey! And there were Jimmy Durante noses. There's a guy, an entertainer from the American in the 60s, Jimmy Durante.
Never heard of him.
I've never heard of him, but apparently he had a very distinctive nose. And they were medically examined.
Was it The Strangerers?
The Strangerers?
Yeah, The Strangerers.
No.
It was written by Doug Naylor or the other one, Rob Grant.
Yeah, Red Dwarf guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a series on Sky One years ago, and they were aliens that come to Earth, and they were disguised as humans.
Were they creepy sexless dudes?
Not that I can remember. No.
No.
But you haven't seen it. There's no point.
No,
commenting on
no,
it,
there isn't.
so-
Well, edit that out.
Yeah. Edit you, ain't you, cunt. Oh, my fault. You like fucking uncultured.
Watching a shitty failed sitcom on Sky One's hardly culture.
It had that Mark Williams in it. He was in Red Dwarf as well. He was what was his name? The Norwegian guy in Red Dwarf. The tattoo.
Oh shit, Olaf Peterson.
That's it.
Yeah. How the fuck do I remember that?
Well, he was in it.
Yeah. So Betty and Barney, they're taken aboard this spaceship by these smartly dressed, big-nosed aliens, and they're examined, and she ends up speaking to one of the leaders, the tall Jews. There's always the tall Jews, they're the leaders. Daddy long legs. And he gets into a bit of a chat with this one, and he shows her this star map. This is where our planet is. These are trade routes, and it's like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. And for a long time, this was the thing. That was the bit of evidence holding this entire thing up. Was this star map? Some woman went a bit nuts. Spent the next 10 years building this star map in her house, like bits of string hanging from the ceiling with little dots, and then the late great Carl Sagan caught a glimpse at it and said, well, that's just bullshit.
Okay.
He says, 'cause if you look at any point in time and space, you can make it fit.
Right.
There's no proof that is this, because if I look at space from any angle, I can say, yeah, well, that fits.
Okay. Because of the randomness of the star charts, you reckon? Or?
Yeah, like, because it was just, if you look at these stars from any given point in space, I can make it fit over here, or I can make it fit over here.
Okay.
Because space is 4-dimensional, isn't it? Up, down, left, right, 3-dimensional.
Yeah, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional.
Yeah.
So you can make it fit.
Well, I assume you know about the vastness of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more stars in our galaxy than there are grains of sand on every beach on Earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty mental. That's some vast shit.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm probably with Carl Sagan on that one. He knew what he was on about, to be fair. My God, Jake, what's behind you?
I don't know. I think the creatures are catching up with me.
Just keep still. Their vision's based on movement.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll carry on talking.
And don't fart, it's like a dinner bell.
I think what kind of got these people, they didn't go public till 1963, so 2 years after this, and they attended hypnosis sessions at their church, weirdly. I don't know what kind of church they fucking went to. This is not every church that crops up with a hypnosis crew to go through alien abductions.
The Church of Hypnotic Aliens does. I'm a proud member.
But weirdly, they lost the noses and clothes and became the classic greys under hypnosis. And funnily enough, there was an episode of The Outer Limits the previous evening before they went under hypnosis. It was called the Bolero Shield, and it actually showed what would be considered a grey alien.
Okay.
And so, are the greys an invention of The Outer Limits, or a figment of Betty Hill's imagination?
Remains to be seen.
Because basically she became a bit of a joke in her later years,
Okay.
saying that she was seeing UFOs pretty much every night, and some guy remarked that she couldn't tell the difference between a UFO and a streetlight.
Wow.
So she became a bit of a joke. She tried to build up this kind of cult of personality around herself. And
She wasn't making enough money from it, like.
Yeah, pretty much just, and once again, I'm back to the point of money.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do that the way that they discredit people is that they attack their profession, they make them look and seem ridiculous.
Yes, but this was the thing about, this is a quote, not being able to tell the difference between a UFO and a streetlight came from the UFO crowd. She was booed off stage by a UFO crowd.
Okay.
So she kind of shot herself in the foot then.
Yeah. What about the moon landings? The moon landings, apparently aliens on the moon?
It's possible. I said that I think it's possible that they went to the moon and they filmed a fake one in case well, perhaps they knew what they were going to find up there. Who knows?
Well, there's a British documentary called Apollo 11: The Untold Story, 2006. If anyone wants to track it down. Basically, it's Armstrong and Aldrin get out. They're hopping around. They're observed by alien craft as they moonwalk. Apparently, I mean, the ham radio operators are monitoring the signal. It's a standard radio frequency. The astronauts switched to their private medical channel, so they were speaking just like as if they were speaking to a doctor. It was meant to be a private channel, but then these ham radio operators claim that they picked it up, so I would say that wasn't very private.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, but the weird thing is that the original tapes and transcripts of their communication are missing.
That's conveniently
It
suspicious.
always goes missing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All the key information or the key evidence always goes missing.
And it's not like a fucking lighter. These are the original tapes and transcripts of the first fucking moon landing. Where are they? Oh, we can't find them. If you sit down the back of the sofa, I mean, come on, where are they? How can you lose something like that? Or more than likely, someone's bought them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for a private collection.
So a private collection. The fucking collector from Guardians of the Galaxy's got them.
Or they've got it, or they just won't release it to the public.
Oh, there is that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this is we'll move on to moon landing because I mean we just don't know with that one. I mean, yeah, maybe, possibly.
Isn't there a gag order on Aldrin and Armstrong?
Well, Armstrong's
There's
dead.
a gag order on them. They're not allowed to say anything or what they saw, but they're trying to. Definitely Aldrin is trying to get some stuff released.
Well, I mean, if you really want to delve into the whole space conspiracy, Aldrin was meant to have led the first mission to Mars in 1985.
Wow.
So, it's. Oh, I did like the fact that Buzz Aldrin punched a moon landing conspiracy theorist. He punched him in the face. He's like, this guy comes up to Aldrin and says, "You're a liar, you're a thief, you got no honour." And he's just like, in public in this guy's hotel, and Aldrin's walking at the hotel, and this guy's like, and these cops are there, and they're like, he goes, "You can't throw me out, I'm a guest, I'm staying at the hotel." And he's like, "Aldrin, you lied, say you lied." And Aldrin, Buzz, and he's like 78 or something here, and this just punches this dude in the face. It's on YouTube. Just find it out. It's great.
For me, that would indicate some sort of guilt.
Well, this guy was apparently going around because he claimed this guy's modus operandi is like he's an undercover asshole. He comes up to them under the guise of something else, and then starts abusing them, saying that they're lying.
Yeah, but if he wasn't lying, then why would he get so defensive?
Because the guy's calling him a dick. This is Buzz. He's famously not quite right. he's a famously eccentric character.
Well, if we talk about astronauts, I'm hoping we're going to talk about Edgar Mitchell.
I hadn't got into Edgar Mitchell, or had I? I don't know. Let me check my book of secrets.
I've never heard of Edgar Mitchell.
He was the sixth man on the moon.
Okay.
I don't think I've got anything about Edgar.
Oh, I thought you would have done it. I would say
I don't know why.
of the evidence.
Yeah, but he's very much into. You get the feeling that he'd like to talk more about UFOs, but doesn't. But he also remember he tried to conduct ESP experiments while he was in space with people back on Earth, and I'm sorry.
So he's open to different things.
No, I don't believe in ESP because I think it's bullshit. No one's ever been able to prove it, and if he's into that kind of stuff, then it diminishes his reputation in my eyes. Full props to the being sixth man on the moon and everything.
Well, exactly. They're not going to put someone who's mentally unstable up into space.
You put Buzz Aldrin up there.
They're meant to go through all these sort of checks and things.
Yeah, but
psychological checks.
Yeah, but once you've sailed through that, you can do what you want. Haven't you seen Armageddon? Sending fucking Burt Reynolds up there. Burt Reynolds? Bruce Willis.
Burt Reynolds? That would have been a different film.
I'd like to have seen that actually. I really would.
In space,
yeah. I'm going to move on. We'll move this on, right?
Move on from Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds in space.
Burt Reynolds in space.
In the 25th century. Nazi UFOs, because if you can't fit Nazis into a tale, then that tale isn't worth telling. You know? You got the Foo Fighters of the Second World War, not the band, obviously. Not the band. Weirdly, the Foo Fighters, they did buzz like Allied and German aircraft. Both sides thought they were the others. No one tried to shoot them. And apparently the Germans had flying discs being studied by them in 1942, but for some reason they didn't decide to actually shoot down any Allied bombers with them, which you'd think they would.
Yeah.
You know?
We got that weird bell thing as well.
Ah, yes, the Nazi bell.
The Nazi bell, yeah.
Nazi bell end, that was just Hitler.
Isn't that some kind of time machine or a dimensional shift machine or something?
Well, if you listen to the History Channel and their, I'll use quotation marks, experts, end quote, it was a time machine.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that, because I think if you're on the losing side and you've got a time machine,
you're not going to be on the losing side.
You're not going to be on the losing side. And
no.
we, as far as I'm aware, are not speaking German.
I don't think I am, no.
No. Pete, you speaking German?
9.
9? So I think we can probably discount that. And that's the best of it.
Unless, as we speak, there's battles in time between Nazis and Allied troops, Allied spies, whatever.
It could
Gain
be some
control.
timeline, couldn't it?
It's just like a Hellboy kind of thing going on.
We could be slipping in and out of reality, we don't know. One minute we're sitting here, next minute we're in Lederhosen.
Well, that's not so bad.
Munching on German sausage.
You could munch on your German sausage, my friend. I would defend the right of my mouth not to take German sausage. But this is it. So if it's a time travel machine, why didn't you use it to go back and change the war? Because you go back and go, hey, you know that time machine, Adolf, but it works, and you don't want to invade Russia.
Well, didn't the Yanks have a time machine? Wasn't the Philadelphia experiment?
But that's a whole crock of everything. That is, yeah. Was it electromagnetism to camouflage the ship to effectively make it invisible? They reckon it jumped. It went from Philadelphia to somewhere else and back. It was the USS Eldridge, I believe the ship was, and yeah.
I don't know. I've seen the film.
The second one's great and terrible at the same time.
That's the one where the Nazis actually
They get a time tunnel, and a Harrier jump jet goes back through it, and the Germans get it and invade Washington.
Wow.
Because they win the war because they've got a Harrier jump jet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a terrible film. And Al Bielek, the guy who wrote all this, and he also did the Montauk Project, and we'll do that in a future episode because that is just batshit insane. Right? Do some reading on it. It's just batshit insane. And everyone's like, oh well, Al Bielek said this, Al Bielek said that. What they don't say is that Al Bielek spends a lot of time in a mental hospital. Now, can you chalk that up to his experiences, or can you chalk it up to the fact he was fucking loony? You know, which one? I don't know. But like I say, if you're going to have something, you've got to get Nazis in it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because
gives it credibility to
it does. I mean, because if the Nazis dabbled in it, there you go. Apart from genocide, no credibility in genocide.
You never did that.
No. Would say no to that.
He's a decent chap apart from the genocide, then, is what you're saying?
No. I'll give him his due economically. I've got an interesting quote now.
I hate how they say that. Some people say that Hitler was a vegetarian. Well, A, there was actually no evidence that he was a vegetarian, and B, just because he didn't eat meat, does that excuse him for all his crimes to humanity?
Well, actually, I'm seeing a pattern between this and ISIS. They don't eat bacon. Hitler never ate bacon.
Oh, so it makes you angry, doesn't it?
Yeah. The Jews don't eat bacon.
Yeah, but they're at peace with that. They've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah. So.
You know, it's just some people take to it late.
See that thing done by, I think it was Dutch or Belgian students or something, and they went around reading passages from the Bible and pretending it was the Quran.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, it's things like, kill your something or other, like your babies or something, or it was basically horrific stuff, and everyone was thinking it was the Quran condemning it. And then everyone said, actually, this is actually the Bible, and everyone's like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Betting on the wrong horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Carry on then.
I'm going to bring this up now to more present times. The director of the Lockheed Skunk Works speaks. Ben Rich, director from 1975 to 1991. And I have quite a bit of quotation from him if you're interested.
Go on in.
We already have the means to travel among the stars, but these technologies are locked up in black projects, and it would take an act of God to ever get them out to benefit humanity. Anything you can imagine, we already know how to do. We now have the technology to take ET home. It won't take someone's lifetime to do it. There's an error in the equations. We know what it is. We now have the capability to travel to the stars. There are two types of UFOs, the ones we build and the ones they build. So this is the guy who was responsible for making the stealth bomber.
And this is not some janitor or
No, this is the dude who was the director.
The director of
He is
Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. They made the stealth bombers. They made the Blackbird. They made the U-2. Anything that's been top secret has gone through Lockheed Martin Skunk Works.
Well, see, this is what makes me think it might be true, because you look at the people that are speaking out. You've got this guy. You've got Edgar Mitchell, who was the sixth man on the moon. You've got Paul Hellyer, who was the Canadian Defence Minister. I mean, these aren't jokers. I mean, these are people with respectable roles in government or in the wider world, and it baffles me as to why these people are coming out and speaking, and why would they do it if it isn't true?
Well, I mean, Paul Hellier's in his 80s and could be senile. We don't know. I have heard him speak, and Ben Rich, who's the guy I just...
There's been other astronauts, haven't there, that have seen things in space, and...
There is. I mean, I think not long ago one of the shuttles went to a report. Apparently there's a code and they call it Santa Claus if there's a UFO. We've seen Santa Claus is off the Port Bell or whatever. And
you see these things on YouTube with all the videos of the spacecraft entering the Earth, and you see NASA's feed cut off at the most crucial point.
Have you seen the one where something gets...
wonder.
Yeah. Have you seen the one where something gets shot from the Earth and whatever
like
it is
missile,
veers away rapidly?
Have you seen that true?
Yeah.
And you're like,
It's a bit weird as well, because watching something on the space station last week, I think it was.
oh, what's his face? I can't remember his name now. Tim?
Peake. That's it, yeah, Tim Peake, going out on his first spacewalk. Conveniently, they lose signal as he's just about to leave the station, and conveniently, just as they come in, they lose signal again.
Ah.
It's a bit interesting how NASA can keep on cutting feeds when they feel like it.
Do you think there's a grey on the space station helping him in and out of his suit? He's
Yes.
just like, he's up there, he's been up there for ages. And they just, whenever they do a shot of inside, he has to hide in a cupboard.
Yeah. I've got a theory on all this with the alien stuff and all the space technology stuff. If we can't even get on with like our neighbours, so to speak, like we can't get on with Muslims or Middle East and stuff like that. If we can't get on with those people of a different faith, then what chance have we got of getting on with people from another planet?
You've got a good point.
Yeah, especially as they're probably going to turn up and say, for example, religion. Wow, we gave that up thousands of years ago. What are you fucks still doing with it?
Yeah. It's a form of control, isn't it?
I mean,
if there's somebody
look,
aliens on another planet, then it kind of puts everything else into perspective, doesn't it?
Look at what we would represent to them at this stage in our evolution. I mean, we would be pretty much like primates are to us. And what do we do with monkeys? We put them in zoos and experiment on them. So, do you think it's not possible that an alien species may come to Earth that are far more advanced and see us exactly the same way and do exactly the same things?
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Well,
So it makes it,
but that was out in the open. What I'm trying to say is, this could be the precursor. If you're going to invade somebody, you want to gain as much information on them as possible. So,
Are you saying there's an alien invasion on the way?
I'm just saying.
he's warning us of something.
Yeah.
If the
Are you a
abductions-
prophet?
If the abductions are true, if the abductions are real, and
Yeah, but surely there's only so much to be gained from anal probing.
It's still a great film, though.
It's true though. I mean, I like the Battle for LA. It's not a great film, but I like to think how that's kind of be how it played out. That we wouldn't just roll over. I think if there's one thing humans are really good at, it's figuring out ways to kill other things.
Yeah.
You would argue we're really fucking good at that.
What's that thing that Star Wars thing in space that they reckon that they're building?
Oh, it's the missile defense system, isn't it? Allegedly, the missile defense system. Say that the Russia launches nukes. Obviously, they go outside the atmosphere, and these satellites have got these big lasers on, and they shoot at the missile. And it's meant to take it out above the atmosphere rather than. But you still want to take out the fucking atmosphere.
Okay, now what if that wasn't the real reason? The real reason was because there might be an alien invasion coming.
Would you like me to go into this? Because I have some shit on
Yeah,
it.
go on then.
Right. Solar Warden,
That's the one.
which is a great name for a band.
Just say it.
Solar Warden, I've got to get some brief notes on this. It's basically a space fleet based on alien technology. And one of our own British guys, Gary McKinnon, hacked NASA, found a list of non-terrestrial officers,
Yeah.
and the name Solar Warden, and it's this space fleet, and it's there to defend the solar system. So you would have, and we've got bases on the moon, we've got bases on Mars. Do you want to hear about Randy Kramer? I like this tale. A guy called Randy Kramer. He's 17 years old. He's asleep in his bed. Next thing you know, lights, bright lights. These two guys come in and say, right, you got to come with us. No questions asked. He's like, oh, fucking hell. All right, whatever. Goes off with him. Finds out he's been selected to join an elite military program to serve a space marine, basically. Yeah?
A little bit like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Almost. And the last Starfighter. Anyway, so he's 17. He's on this 20 years tour. It's a 20-year tour. Now I'm looking at this guy on the TV, yeah, and I'm thinking, well, you only look about 30 odd. So you're saying this was a while back. Anyway, he spends the next 20 years on Mars, killing mankind's enemies, insectoids, reptilians, strangling Pindar with his own guts, probably. I don't know. He's a fucking space marine. He can do what he wants. Right? And then at the end of this 20 years, he wakes up at home in bed, age 17 again. That's called a fucking dream, Randy.
That is called
It's
a dream.
a fucking dream.
I've heard some of the audio on that interview as well.
Have you?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Does he come across as having experienced anything but a dream? Or do you think he's just sniffing the money?
He doesn't. I don't know. It's difficult to say. If I had to say, I mean, obviously, it's a crazy story, isn't it? I mean, if it was real, it would be mind blowing. But I mean, no, I don't think it's credible. Sorry.
From what I've seen of him, he's like
Gary McKinnon, possibly.
Well, they want to extradite. The Yanks
That's what
want
I
him
mean.
extradited.
If they don't want, if he was just a kook who they thought was of no danger, they would just leave him alone,
Yeah.
and they would just ridicule
Well,
him.
he's autistic anyway.
He's autistic.
So I mean,
So
if they just didn't do anything about it, you just go, well, he's autistic. He's not quite all there.
and apparently they changed laws after him, so that they can extradite somebody, specifically because they couldn't extradite him, and they were concerned that in the future that if someone else did breach, so they changed the rules somehow. They do it like.
But at the same time, I think that if the US wanted him that bad, they'd have just snatched him off the street.
Yeah, but can you imagine how that looks?
It doesn't matter where's he gone. Who
In
knows?
the papers the next morning, Americans
No.
kidnap
No,
Britain from the
no,
street.
because he's gone. No one knows where the fuck he's gone or who's taken him. They knock on his door at 4 in the morning, you just snatch him out of his bed, trank in the back of a
What
van.
about family? What about names?
Gary's vanished. Where is he? We don't know. He could be in Guantanamo Bay. He could be fucking down the street. Who knows? He's a missing person. There's another way to look at it. But I do think
Missing people every day, isn't there?
that's it. And I do think that there's something to it. Oh, Gary, but apparently he lost connection when he was downloading something. Well, look in the cache. You got your downloaded files, haven't you? Stuff you've seen, saved into a temporary folder.
Yeah.
It's got to be there somewhere.
Gonna be cookies in the cookie folder somewhere.
Yeah.
There's always cookies in the cookie jar.
Cookies in the cookie jar.
It's in the solar wood. I found a stat, right? The US black budget. This is what they spend on secret stuff. 2014, 52.6 billion. In 2015, apparently, because obviously it's a black budget, so no one actually knows for sure, it's thought to be 58.7 billion.
Wow.
That's what they're spending on. But still, is that enough to have a space fleet?
I would wager not.
I would say that. I mean, you think how much is like, because you've got to build them in space, surely.
I mean, do we have the resources to do stuff like that?
I don't know, because if you're going to build like a giant spaceship and these things are meant to be huge, then surely you'd have to build it in space, because if you build it on Earth, think of the energy you've got to have, and the fact that someone's going to see it, surely.
Maybe they're mining asteroids.
Well, maybe there's a base on the moon where they do it all, you know.
They could be mining moon, couldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, but you would just think that, you know, it's got to be a fucking big spaceship. The energy to get it into space if it was built on Earth would be tremendous. And whether you've got this alien technology or not, someone's going to notice it, surely, unless it goes all fucking shield helicarrier and just vanishes into the sky. They went invisible. I've seen that film. I'm down. I'm hip.
What was that?
You know the helicarriers from Shield, Captain America, the Avengers.
Of course.
They kind of just go transparent, don't they?
Yeah, they disappear in the sky. It could be it's already up there above our heads, and we just can't see it.
Yeah. Just explain that fucking shadow over Telford permanently. So I did a bit of research. I went through some of this shit, and in the sort of 50s, 60s, and 70s, like aliens are about peace, love, and nuclear disarmament. Yeah, and now they're not. So what's changed? Are they not interested anymore? Maybe it's fuck these humans. Let's just keep probing them. They'll come round. That's how it was for us. Anyway, to close it off, I found an article, I think I sent it to you guys, and the 6 alien races are allegedly fighting for control over Earth.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
I'll go through them and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah. So,
Go on then.
first of all, don't get this confused with Syria, but they're called the Syrians. They're from Sirius B.
Okay.
Right. An advanced alien race imparted their knowledge to human civilization. So the Egyptians, the Malayans, the Atlanteans.
Oh, so we owe it all to them.
We owe it all to them. Weirdly, there's a tribe in Africa, and they knew about the star before it was found by astronomers.
Right.
So that does lend a bit of credence.
Well, I thought the Anunnaki were the. Who were they then?
Now I'm coming back to them in a bit, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So yeah, these guys were there.
Okay.
They backed off a little now, but apparently they're mentioned in technology exchanges, covert and exotic weapons, and time travel experimentation. And they're humanoid, and they've all got beards, so.
Oh, they fit in right in.
They fit in all right, yeah.
Get them on the show, Ben.
I'll send them an invite. Guest speakers, we have the Syrians from Sirius B. Greetings, humans.
Fuck you, BBC. We got the fucking Syrians.
Right, so we've got them. This class is the greys into 2, because you've got the short greys and the tall greys. The little creepy sexist guys, 3 to 5 feet tall, you know the drill, big head, big eyes, no nose. And then you've got the tall greys, the daddy long legs, 7 to 8 feet tall, and they're a mix of DNA, they're human and alien. And I don't know why they've got to be 8 feet tall though, seems excessive. Do you think they were doing the height thing and just fucked up a bit? Yeah, let's make them 6 foot. Oh, nah, 8.
Too many drops.
They supervise abductions, consider humans their property, which you touched on earlier.
Did I?
Yes, you said that we could just be a fucking zoo.
Ah, yes.
And they do the agreements with the shadow government, but I don't know who's in the shadow government. Because it's shadowy.
It's a bit dark.
Yeah. We got our mates, the reptilians, from Alpha Draconis. Why is it? That's something that bugs you, the reptilians. Like, oh yeah, the star's called Alpha Draconis. It's like, oh, a dragon then.
Yeah,
right.
it's a bit convenient, that. one.
Yeah. So I've got a star there called Alpha Draconis. Fucking reptilians live there.
Well, maybe the star was named after. They knew they'd come from there.
They infiltrated human society thousands of years ago. Well, we know that, obviously.
Yeah, because we spoke to that Pindar dude, didn't we?
Yeah, he turned up in a white limo.
That's it, yeah, decent guy.
Good guy. Shame he took Jeff. Giant reptiles are 14 to 22 feet tall. Now that's excessive.
Yeah, to about the top of that one. You'd see them coming, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Because you'd be looking through the fucking window for a start, and you're upstairs. That's just like Godzilla.
Yeah.
There you go. Cultural references again.
Cultural reference. And they are the force behind the repression of human populations, instilling fear-based belief systems and restrictive hierarchies. Very clairvoyant, very clever, very sinister.
Dun, dun, dun.
And they consider themselves to be the first intelligent species in the Milky Way. Or what if they just like fucking dinosaurs, man? What if they're dinosaurs that didn't die out?
It could be.
That leads us to that. But that could lead us to that awful Super Mario film. I actually watched that.
Did you?
I wanted to see how bad it was, because I remember watching it as a kid and not really understanding it. And I thought it's on YouTube, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to sit down and watch allegedly the first worst film ever made. Apparently Hoskins and his co-star were drunk for the entire thing, because it was just such a god awful mess that they just got drunk. And Bob Hoskins' Brooklyn accent is worth watching.
You ever seen the Double Dragon film?
You know what, I haven't.
Have you seen that trick?
I haven't, I don't think I have.
Double Dragon film. It's terrible. Do you know I rented it from the gym.
What the fuck was it? Why were you renting DVDs in the gym? Wow, their DVD budget's really low.
It was like, because I was a new member, I had like a free DVD rental or something. I thought, I'd look like Double Dragon, fucking hell, wicked, never even knew there was a film. So I get fucking off.
But weirdly, in that Super Mario film, yeah, they end up in this fucked up reptile nightclub. And do you know what song they're playing? Everybody Do the Dinosaur. Why the fuck are evolved dinosaurs dancing to that?
Oh god.
It's terrible, but it's worth a watch just for Bob Hoskins' Brooklyn accent. Great. What do we say? The native reptilians, they're the same as the fucking others, let's face it, except they're a bit shorter. That's what it boils down to. They're a bit shorter.
They're still cunts.
They're still oppressing us at the end of the day.
So they still answer to Pindar.
They do. He's got wings, you see, that's why.
That's what it is, yeah. He's like an overlord of two races at least.
Oh god, yeah. I'm Prince Charles's dad.
Yeah.
The Anunnaki. These are the ones you get your nutcases fucking chanting after, you know, spiritual new age nutcases. Anunnaki, come back to us. All that bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, they're from the 12th planet of our solar system, which we have found a 10th recently. They think there's a 10th.
Yes.
It's not Pluto, they think it's past Pluto.
Yes, and they reckon it's 5,000 times bigger than Earth, was it?
It's pretty big.
Something like that. I can't. Yeah.
Something like that.
And everyone's been obviously saying it's this planet Nibiru or whatever that people are going about.
Is it one that's going to crash
Which is the
into
planet
us?
of the Anunnaki or something, isn't
Yes,
it?
Nibiru, but it says my research is the 12th planet in the solar system.
Oh.
Well, if it is, then they should probably turn up again and...
Apparently it comes every 10 to 20,000 years round by Earth, and when it does, it apparently because of the gravity it causes havoc. I don't know. That's what I think.
They said he was going to come every 10 to 20 years. I'm going to see about my sex life. They originally colonised Earth with the intent of mining for gold and minerals, created mankind through genetic manipulation and in vitro fertilisation, influenced every aspect of human life. They've been here since the start, and we inherited their culture of violence and vengeance. So they don't sound particularly nice people, because they basically just created us to be slaves.
Right. And the Greys want to mix their DNA with ours.
The Greys are trying to get our DNA and their DNA to mix, to take over us. And these boys turned up from the start, created us and enslaved us.
Seems a little bit strange inbreeding going on there.
Yeah. You see, this is the thing. If you look into this stuff enough, it all contradicts itself.
Yeah. A bit like the Bible.
The Bible. And I've got to give a special mention, the last ones, to the Nordics. They were more popular in the 50s, and I read a lot of stuff about this. They are the guys that look like us. They're 6 to 7 feet tall, they got blonde hair, they look Scandinavian. I assume they're women are fucking hot.
Yeah.
They were popular in the 50s, they were concerned about the environment and the world peace. They don't show up nowadays, they're seen rarely. So this is the thing, they're all concerned about world peace, now they stop showing up.
But the Nazis might come out. Or were they the Nazi super race or something?
No, but you can see where the mythology comes from if these guys have been around for a while. I mean, Jesus promised an end to sin, and still sin. Odin promised an end to ice giants. I ain't seen no ice giants. Thank you, Nordics.
Well, he just lies, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Nordics. They were concerned about the environment and world peace. They don't like the Greys, and they're effectively space hippies.
Cool.
Yeah, they're pretty much peace and love.
I'd be a Nordic, I think.
No, you can't, you ginger.
Damn it.
No gingers in the Nordics.
Oh, we're soulless, I forgot.
Exactly. So we've been through a brief tour of modern UFOlogy. Yeah. You got any thoughts? Any final thoughts? Trig's final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Yeah, I think there's definitely more out there than what we've been led to believe, because there's just too much diverse life on planet Earth as it is, and it's just naive to think there's nothing out there. There's got to be something out there, and I firmly believe that the government are holding it a secret from us for our own good.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Pete, final thought?
Well, I echo Trig's sentiments. I think that the universe is so incredibly vast, particularly if you want to stretch it to multiverse.
Let's just stick in our own. Trig's got enough problem with multiverse creatures.
I think
they're coming up behind me. I think I'm going to sign off soon. They're tracking my signal.
Damn, they've evolved. You still got your sharp stick?
Yeah, my prodding stick.
You'll be okay.
so. I definitely think there's alien life out there. Do I think they're visiting Earth? I never used to. But after analysing what has been going on in the world, it's quite clear that we are being, shall I say, controlled in a certain way, or manipulated.
Right.
And evidence and information is being kept from us.
Well, that goes without saying, yeah.
I think that, I mean, you can look into anything. You can only go so far. You know, the paedophile scandal, and anything that's in the news. You go so far. You can only reach certain levels of information. So on that basis, I think it's entirely credible that you got the quality of the witnesses coming forward. They're not all crackpots living in their sheds.
A lot of them are, though.
A lot of them are. But a lot of them were high-ranking officials and people that came from the circles of power. So they might have been privy to more information than the average Joe Bloggs.
The Canadian Defence Minister, you'd have thought, knew a bit, because he's the Defence Minister.
Exactly. I'm not saying that everything he says may be true. Same goes for everybody, but I mean, I just think it's possible. I do. I think it's possible.
This is difficult for me, because as much as I see it as, I really want it to be true, and it's one of the few conspiracy theories I can kind of believe in. But yes, there's some respectable witnesses, but there's a lot of people doing it for money.
There's a lot of people. It is an industry now, isn't it?
It's an industry, and I mean, I've seen some of the recent Channel 4 documentaries. They had some chap on there called Tony Topping, which sounds like a dumbass fucking name anyway. I hope you listen to this, Tony, because I'd punch you in the fucking face. And he to me, he just looked like he was lying right through his fucking teeth about it.
Oh, that's just your opinion. You're looking.
Of course it's my opinion, but the way he was telling the tale was if he's just something he'd rehearsed.
Well, obviously, maybe you have trouble speaking in public.
I don't care, he's a dick, and I'm a...
Well, you have to be more. You can't just It's because you dislike a guy, you can't discredit everything that he's saying.
I just didn't believe his tale. It didn't sound authentic. And then there was the chap who he's done a couple of these documentaries. Like Miles something his name is. He looks a bit like a fucking mad professor. He did the Confessions of an Alien Abductee show, which if you haven't seen that, you got to try and track it down because it's fucking hilarious. But he was like, oh yeah, MI6. When we went to the war in the Falklands, it wasn't. Oh, it was to do with finding this alien black goo, and it was intelligent and it evolved and it could read our thoughts and feelings, and we got it. And then we had it in MI6, and there was an incident. And in a panic, they flushed you down the toilet. Oh, get out of it, mate. Get out of it. Right, I'm sorry. You're not going to flush an alien life form down the toilet.
No.
Right? You're just not. And so that's that. On that side of view, that point of view, yeah, these guys are fucking nuts. But then you have guys like Paul, the Canadian Defence Minister, Paul, what's his last name? Hellyer? Paul Hellyer. The guy in charge of the skunk works, who really hasn't got an agenda in that scenario. He doesn't have an agenda. He's been working for the government. Edgar Mitchell. Great guy, astronaut, a lot of respect. Maybe a little bit too out there for me. Doing the old private ESP sessions from space. I just think, you're wasting your time there, pal. I'd love it to be true. I think there's some element of truth to all this. Stuff like Roswell, I think, has been blown out of proportion. But yeah, there's got to be alien life out there, whether it is creepy sexist dudes coming and abducting people, or scantily clad Nordic ladies abducting people, which I wouldn't mind that one. They can probe me for that. Yeah, I just think there's. I think if you look too much into this stuff, you find that it does contradict itself. I mean,
I used to say that like alien life forms intelligent. I mean, there could just be like some amoebic life found on Mars. They've just not made it here yet.
Yeah, I mean, how do we know that we haven't come down? We haven't already found alien life, and it's microbial, and it's on an asteroid that's come down.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
There's that theory that I read actually today, I think, or yesterday, and it said that human beings might be alien life.
We're all stardust, man.
We may not have evolved from apes.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah, saying that we're the aliens on this planet.
Yeah.
Like.
The way we treat it, I mean, we're not in symbiosis with the planet, are we? It's quite clear.
Definitely, yeah. We're bleeding it dry, aren't we?
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Yeah, every other species kind of lives in harmony with it.
That's it.
Yeah, but damn it, I want a new car.
Yeah.
Let's just go into that in a second. Like, if I took if I designed a motor that ran purely on air, yeah, there's no byproducts, and I took it to Ford, they'd buy it off me and put it on a shelf.
Yeah, because there's no profit in it.
Exactly. Because who gives money to Ford? Saudi Arabia. It's in their interest to keep their oil flowing, isn't it? So on that note, Trig.
Yep, it's getting darker. I can hear them getting closer.
If I can see them, dude.
They're all around us, man.
Ben, send me my time.
8 meters.
Yeah.
6 meters. 5 meters. They're in the room.
They're in the goddamn room, man. They're coming out the walls and fuck.
Send me my fighting trousers.
You're not reading right.
Your fighting trousers are on the way, my friend. Right, so that is it from the League of Extraordinarily Bearded Gentlemen. Hopefully Trig will survive. Till next time.
See you next time.
And, well, we're not sure about Pete. We haven't got a very good record with these conspiracy guys. You may see him again. We just don't know. Peace out. Have a good until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Ah!
Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low. Oh, oh. I leaned back on my radio. Oh, oh. Some cat was laying down some rock and roll, that is all he said. Then the loud sound, it seemed to fade. Came back like a slow voice on a wave of fade. That wasn't no DJ, that was hazy cosmic jive. starman.